Scoreboard 2014 with host Mark Smothers and Robin Netherton. Brought to you by Country Financial, a Lee Powell agency for all your insurance needs, and Wallace State Community College. Get in a Wallace state of mind. Now get ready for more Coleman area football. Beyond the Scoreboard.
Well, welcome to Week 8, Beyond the Scoreboard. I had some big games tonight.
Fun games to watch.
Yep. All right, but after we got through watching, I had some fun food to eat.
Chick-fil-A fed the crew again tonight, and as usual, outstanding quality food, great service. You pull up to the window, they have it ready in no time, and the people are super friendly. And
they are. They're
a great place to go in our
yep.
town.
All right, we also have some big sponsors we want to thank too: Country Financial, Lee Powell Agency, and Wallace State Community College. They help present this every week, and we appreciate their work in doing so. This week we've got a team of the week that
the Vinemont Eagles, coached by Coach Alan Scott. A great season so far, 5-3, and I think they clinched the playoff berth tonight.
I believe it is. It was an extremely important game. So we watched Vinemont up there tonight, and here's some footage of them in last week's game against Holly Pond, which they are sort of recovering from injuries. They're beginning to get some of their kids back that had missed some playing time. As you see, John Michael Dye right there running the football.
Coach Scott said they're about as healthy right now as they can be, so I hope that trend continues. And back to their winning ways. They tonight had a big win over Susan Moore, 40-14, and cinched the playoff spot.
Yep. And I was up there tonight, and Kyle Weems was still on the sideline. He one of the extremely important defensive and offensive linemen to have.
Senior. Kyle Williams is senior this year.
And so anyway, congratulations to the Vinemont Eagles. Well-deserved. They had a big win last week and again tonight. So they are our team of the week. All right, Beyond the Scoreboard air times. If you want to come back and watch us again, or if you if you have to go to bed right now.
Never can get enough.
Saturday, 9 a.m. Sunday, 2 p.m. Wednesday at 7 p.m. and then Friday afternoon at 4:30. So those are our air times, and we'll be right back after these important words from our sponsors.
Beyond the Scoreboard, brought to you by Country Financial, the Lee Powell Agency, for all your insurance needs, and Wallace State Community College. Get in a Wallace state of mind.
A restaurant with a view. A game day bus. A kingdom for pretty princesses. Your local Country Financial representative knows that your car is much more than just a car to you. And since they know you so well, you can be sure they'll guide you to just the right coverage and available discounts to keep your car and everything else that depends on it well protected. Country Financial. Grow your own way.
Country Financial, the Lee Powell Agency, for all your insurance needs. Call 256-734-3348.
Delicious stud, hon.
Eat up. There's plenty more.
Billy, eat your stud. Think of the termites whose homes were protected with Termidor.
Aw, Dad. The Browns will never get Termidor. They're clueless.
Yeah, they even think homeowners insurance covers our damage.
Do you hear laughing?
It's probably just the pipes.
Target Pest Control. We aim to please.
One of these can be the most dangerous tools you can own. Because if you're careless, even for a minute, this can come into contact with those. Then it's lights out. At our Touchstone Energy Cooperative, nothing is more important than the safety of our members. We can't do it all. The best way to be safe around outdoor power lines, just don't touch them. Ever. The first rule of every do-it-yourselfer should be do it safely.
Coleman Electric Cooperative.
Wallace State offers associate degree and certificate programs in Alabama's hottest job fields. Every year this decade, almost 3,800 new workers will enter these fields. Will you be one of them? Be one of us. Get in a Wallace State of Mind. Almost $39,000. That's the mean annual wage for Alabamians trained as machinists and in computer-controlled machine operation. Wallace State has machining programs to fit your career ambitions. Be one of us and get in a Wallace State of Mind.
Beyond the Scoreboard, brought to you by Country Financial, the Lee Powell Agency, for all your insurance needs, and Wallace State Community College. Get in a Wallace State of Mind.
Welcome back. We're going to roll some footage of the Vinemont game tonight, and we got Coach Scott on the line, and they had a big win tonight. So welcome, Coach Scott, to Beyond the Scoreboard.
Hey, thanks, guys.
Susan Moore, traditionally great football. They are always tough to beat, and we've got some footage here, and we're looking at the opening kickoff return. Let's see, this Bolin, your quarterback, running it.
That's Garrett.
Garrett Bolin running it back to about the 15-yard line.
Yes, sir. It was a great return. I think they had one kid just caught it from behind and turn around, score on the next play.
And that was Nicholas. Kobe Nicholas, okay. And what grade's he in?
He's 10th grader.
10th grader, okay.
You got a slew of the 10th and 9th graders coming up that really have to play a lot, don't they?
Got a lot of young kids on the field at all times, yes.
All right, we're showing a little defensive footage right here, and you got some people really getting after it there to start with. A couple of big hits. And during the course of the game, I saw several good licks passed.
Yeah, our defense played well, really well at times. They had a couple of good drives, which, give them the credit on that. But, all in all, to allow 14 points, felt like our defense played very solid tonight.
I tell you, their quarterback reminded me of just a little bit smaller version of the of Good Hope's quarterback last year. Very quick and, elusive.
Yeah, they spread the ball out, and they do a good job getting him on the edge and, running some quarterback traps and different things like that, some zone reads. And, he was very dangerous. So, we were trying to, bend but not break,
Well, I thought you just did a super job shutting down everybody but him. And there was your second touchdown. We had Garrett Bolin made a couple of good fakes and then carried it into the end zone pretty easily there.
Yeah, we had we installed a new formation this week, and I think it took Susan Moore a drive or two to kind of figure out what we were doing. After that, they really settled in and started getting after it. I thought Susan Moore responded. We came out and kind of hit them in the mouth, and they responded, came right back, and it was a heck of a game there for a while.
Well, I'll tell you what, I think when they put their first 7 on, and it was 13-0, then they became 13-7, and right before the half, what did y'all do?
Oh, that was probably one of the wildest things I've seen. We actually threw an interception, which they returned for a touchdown, but it got called back on a pass interference, and there was also a personal foul on the play. We ran one more play and thought I had ran the timeout, but there was a defensive penalty on that play, so we were down on about the 30, and we had one untimed down and threw a pass into the end zone and called it, with no time on the clock, and was able to score right before half. So I felt like that was a really, really big momentum, swing in our favor. So, the Lord looked out for us on that one.
Yes, that is, that's huge to score right before the half and go up 19-7 instead of 13-7 as you go into the.
Right.
Okay. All right. Well, congratulations, Coach. Great ball game and big win for you. Secured you a playoff spot, and then next week you're going to be playing to decide if you want to go play Madison Academy or Lauderdale County.
That's right. I appreciate the guys and all their effort tonight. Great team win. Very proud of them.
Well,
congratulations for you and your team.
All right. Good luck next week in the Winston County game. That will be big.
Thank you very much. Yes, it will.
All right. We'll talk with you later, hopefully again next week.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
All right, now we got some footage of the Coleman and Decatur game coming up. We were we got there, and we're starting the second half with this. Coleman kicked off to Decatur starting the second half, and they were down 16-0 at halftime. And it didn't look real good. I think they only had about one first down the first half, Coleman offensively. But here's a Patterson kid making a great rush of the quarterback, forced him out of the pocket, and then ran him down, got a good sack. And so they're forcing Decatur to punt on their first series of the second half.
I think their defense kept them in a lot of games. From what I've
their
seen,
defense played extremely well.
They played very,
for
very
the most
well.
part. Yeah.
There's so many powerful teams in their region, and they've kept everybody relatively low scoring. All the games have been.
And Decatur has such. They've got a couple of really fast, quick kids that and power runners as well. But here they come out in the first play of the second half offensively for Coleman. They get a first down. Second play of the second half, they get another first down.
Looks like they saw something at halftime, adjusted to it, and there's a touchdown.
Well, they've spotted it on the 1 foot line, so they went ahead and ran a sneak and got the touchdown. Anyway, great start of the second half. They put them back in the ball game. Then Decatur was able to get a little bit of a drive going here and was able to get down, put a field goal on to make it 19-7. And then here's a number 1 from Decatur, got a little bit fired up here, and other teammates did a good job of settling him down, getting him to the sideline. That could have been bad right there if his teammates had not have been cool-headed and kept him from starting something big there. Decatur came back and kicked a field goal, which that was big right there for Decatur as far as keeping Coleman from being within one score.
Right.
2 scores actually, because they went for 2 on their touchdown to try to still be 1 score away, and missed it, so it was 16-6 until they made it 19-6 there.
And both these teams had a lot to play for in this game with playoff implications. Decatur pretty much cinched the playoff berth with this win tonight, and Coleman now has to win next week to have a chance.
They pretty much have to beat Muscle Shoals, yes. And let's see, they are playing Muscle Shoals at Muscle Shoals next week. So tough place to go and play.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
and Hartselle has to lose. If Hartselle wins, and it's a 3-way tie, and they still don't control their own destiny. So, got to win, and got to hope everything works out after that.
And there was Decatur scoring again, starting the fourth quarter.
And final score was 33-13.
33-13. So, good luck to Coleman next week. It's going to be tough going on to Muscle Shoals and with a must-win situation.
That's right.
But they've been playing outstanding defense, so maybe they can do that again next week. Okay.
Time for some scores.
Yes, I believe it is.
Let's go for some scores. Cold Springs, big win tonight over Summerton Christian, 26-0.
And what did that do?
That puts Cold Springs in the playoffs.
In the
first
playoffs.
time since 2004, Cold Springs is in the playoffs, and we discussed a while ago that they could go from 4th place to 2nd place with a win next week.
They have a tough game next week playing Tarrant.
Right.
Tarrant's loaded, but if they win that one, the way we looked at it, now we're not certain about this, but we're thinking if they win next week, they'll be the number 2 seed
That's right.
in that region.
And that region's
and
pretty
if
close.
they don't win, then they'll be tied with Addison. But Addison has a head-and-head.
Right, so they'll be 4th.
So they'd be 4th.
Falkville gets a big win tonight over Southeastern, 33-13, puts them at 4-4 overall for the season. Unfortunately, they didn't make a playoff berth. Tanner, 52-0 over R.A. Hubbard, which is not a region game, but that puts Tanner at 5-0 and 7-2, so they are the winner of that region. Tarrant 4-1 in the region after tonight's win over Addison. They beat them 26-13, even though Addison came out with an early lead. But
at halftime they were up 7-6.
7-6, and then Tanner pulls away from the second half. Hansville and Holly Pond. Hansville and Holly Pond, 2 winless teams, unfortunately tonight played each other, and one of them won. Hansville 27-7 over Holly Pond tonight. So that's a big win for Coach Miller's squad. I've myself have coached teams that really desperately needed to win, and they got to win tonight.
I think we're going to have a little footage of that coming up here in a few minutes, and that was a big win for Hansville, and they'd had a few injuries and some other situations, so and Holly Pond has been playing tough.
Yeah, I agree.
So
all
right, go ahead.
Oakman 49-14 over Winfield. That puts Oakman winning that region.
49-14 over what we considered to be a very good Winfield team.
Oakman's a very good team.
You know, somebody told me that having watched Oakman, they think they have a chance to go all the way.
They're very good.
So, all right, go ahead.
Well coached, and they got a lot of depth, I think.
Yeah.
Vinemont, big win tonight over Susan Moore. We talked to Coach Scott a while ago, 40-14. This gives them a playoff berth and puts them at 3-2 in the region. Winfield is the other team that has made the playoffs with 4-1, even though they lost tonight to Oakman. And then Winston County and Vinemont play next week. In Winston County, it's a must-win for them, but they're going to be in the playoffs too. And Vinemont, Winston County kind of determines who's 3 and 4 next week.
See, that's what we was talking about, Coach Scott. One of them's going to go to Madison Academy next week, and the other one's going to go to Lauderdale County.
That's right.
Both places hard to play.
Absolutely. 4A Region 7, Good Hope, big win tonight over a DAR team that scores a lot of points. 103 points scored in that game. Good Hope 63, DAR 40. Went to that game, great ball game. Good Hope, from the beginning of the season to now, is very much improved. You know, Coach Moss and his staff's done outstanding jobs, and those kids have worked hard. They're really buying into the system, I think.
Okay, and what's their record right now?
Good Hope's 3-3 in the region, 4-4 overall.
4-4, and I think they've won 4 of their last 5.
I think that the way it's looking, they're probably not going to make the playoffs if Westminster Christian wins. I think they're 4-2. I don't think that Good Hope will have a chance, but I'm not 100% sure about that.
Well, I think Westminster Christian sealed it tonight, didn't?
Right. Locust Fork, North Jackson, Oneonta, Westminster Christian are all the ones that look like they're going to come out the top 4 in that region. Locust Fork gets a win tonight over Priceville, 34-7. North Jackson, big win over Oneonta, 52-27, and Westminster beats Pennington, 38-20. 5A Region 7.
So, and that region you just went over there, we've got 3 teams at 5-1. Is that
5-1, that's right. Oneonta, North Jackson, Locust Fork.
They're all tied for first.
They've all beat each other.
They'll have to go to some tiebreakers if.
And then Westminster sitting at 4-2, so I'm pretty sure they're the 4th seed.
I think you're right.
And then 5A Region 7, we got Douglas tonight beating Fairview 27-14. Etowah beats Boaz 40-14. Gunnersville beats Butler 52-20. Madison County crushes Randolph 67-14. And for that region, you're looking at Gunnersville, Madison County, Etowah, and Boaz being your 4 that make it to the playoffs.
Okay.
Coleman's region. No, I'm sorry, West Point's region. Region 5 or 5A Region 8. East Limestone beats West Point tonight 31-7. J.O. Johnson.
And East Limestone's undefeated, right?
East Limestone 6-0.
And they're going to be the number 1 seed.
That's your number 1 seed. J.O. Johnson, 4-2, 53-6 over Pope John Paul. Cinches a playoff berth with that, 4-2. Russellville is 5-1 in the region. They beat Lawrence County tonight 21-13. So that's your top 3. And the 4th team in that region is still undecided. West Point's 3-3. Columbia's 2-4. Lawrence County's 3-3. So West Point really needs to win next week to have a chance.
I think the winner of West Point and the Lawrence County game will be the 4th seed.
Right? Yeah. West Point needs to beat Lawrence
and
County.
And it's at West Point. So
West Point. And those 2 teams have identical records.
It'd be a very important ball game, and it sure would be good to have a big crowd over there.
And supporting them,
rooting West Point, and bring them in. All right, go ahead.
6A Region 8, Coleman's region, probably one of the tightest regions overall when you start looking at it. Florence has pulled away from everybody else, 5-0 in the region. They're 6-2 overall. They with the win tonight over Hartselle, 25-3. Decatur beats Coleman tonight, 33-13, and that puts them at 4-1. So that's your 1-2 in that region. But after that, Muscle Shoals is 3-2, Hartselle's 2-3, and Coleman's 2-3. So if Coleman and Hartselle win, you got a 3-way tie with the Shoals. That you got to bust. If Coleman wins and Hartselle loses, the Coleman's in.
Yeah.
If they beat the Shoals, if they beat Muscle Shoals, so that's going to be an interesting region to watch next week. Coleman's in a must-win situation to make the playoffs.
And Hartselle's playing Austin, and Austin won their first region game tonight.
Right.
But they've played everybody they've played.
Very well.
Very tough.
And it's a very evenly, from what we've seen, it's a very evenly balanced region.
Mm-hmm.
Except for Florence, who's a little ahead of everybody else. And then 6A Region 7, Albertville beats Brewer 27-14. Arab beats Lee 34-27. And Gardendale beats Fort Payne 41-7. In a non-region contest, Southside Gadsden crushes Scottsboro 42-16.
Okay. That brings us to this part of the program where we usually have a little bit of music going on. So this week we have the Cold Springs Marching Eagle Band. That's our band of the week. So we'll have a little footage of Cold Springs coming up.
1, 2, 1, 2, ready, play.
Country Financial, the Lee Powell Agency, for all your insurance needs. And Wallace State Community College. Get in a Wallace state of mind.
A restaurant with a view. A game day bus. A kingdom for pretty princesses. Your local Country Financial representative knows that your car is much more than just a car to you. And since they know you so well, you can be sure they'll guide you to just the right coverage and available discounts to keep your car and everything else that depends on it well protected. Country Financial. Grow your own way.
Country Financial, the Lee Powell Agency, for all your insurance needs. Call 256-734-3348. From the Heart, monogramming and gifts. Find the right gift for any occasion. Designer jewelry, bags, clothes, and much more. Stop by today and ask about our monogramming and custom printing services. The best gifts come from the heart.
It's true. The only time we think about electricity is when the power goes out. Then every minute seems like an eternity. Luckily, as a member of a Touchstone Energy Cooperative, the people working on our behalf have the training, high-tech resources, and motivation to restore power as quickly and as safely as humanly possible. See what I mean? When it comes to electricity, you know you have an outstanding team working for you when you hardly notice them at all.
Coleman Electric Cooperative.
Wallace State offers associate degree and certificate programs in Alabama's hottest job fields. Every year this decade, almost 3,800 new workers will enter these fields. Will you be one of them? Be one of us. Get in a Wallace state of mind. That's how many registered nurses the national job market will need in this decade. Will you be one of them? Across the country, that's the median annual pay for RNs. Be one of us and get in a Wallace state of mind.
Beyond the Scoreboard, brought to you by Country Financial, the Lee Powell Agency, for all your insurance needs. And Wallace State Community College. Get in a Wallace state of mind.
Welcome back to Beyond the Scoreboard. We are going to show a little bit of footage of the Good Hope DAR game. Big win for Good Hope tonight. They won their fourth ball game, which is 4 of the last 5.
Yeah, really turned it around this season. Great win tonight, Coach.
Well, thank you. Our kids played hard. It looked like one of the parents came by and said it looked like a basketball school.
Yes, hey, 103 points scored. That's pretty good. 104, yeah, that's it.
That sounds about like our season total back when I was playing. But
we said, I told Coach Rose after the game, neither one of us could stop each other. It was just back and forth.
Yes.
Of course, Coach Nelson, you probably knew that kid played quarterback for him. He used to go good on.
Yeah, I know TJ very well. TJ's thoroughbred, isn't he?
He's a good athlete. I think he's still out here running on the field now.
I hear you. Yeah, hey, but I watched you guys play, and I've watched y'all play at the beginning of the year now, and you guys have improved during the season as much as I've ever seen a team improve. And catching the football and just football savvy. You guys are really running on all your cylinders now.
Yeah, kids are picking it up a little bit. You know, we had some things last year. This group sort of gel a little bit. We got a little ways to go, but they're all playing better than teams. We've got 7 teams this year, so that's a little bit of a difference from last year. But like I said, the kids are working hard, learning systems, just better kids.
As we're watching the film here, we just saw McClure scoring a touchdown. How many did he have tonight?
Coach, I couldn't tell you. I know I'm 64 points there. There's 9 of them somewhere here. It was back for the run was there. They were playing 2-3 techniques, 2-6 techniques, they runs to it. We got them underneath.
I thought you guys were real balanced. The line blocked great. I think real good looking line tonight. And then your McClure did it all. Threw it, caught it, ran it, and you had some other guys that really stood out. Number 12, number 10. Those guys really played hard.
He had a good night. 10's off 3. He had a good night. He also had a good night last night. All 3 of the senior and 2.
Okay.
We'll be leading those guys, those teams out there. A lot of them will be back.
And your quarterback threw the ball well. There's a few times whenever that ball had to be placed just perfect, and it had a lot of velocity on it, and it worked out well. Your quarterback number 11 really had a pretty good night throwing it around.
Yeah, that's what he's doing. I mean, a sophomore. So we're having a couple more years. He makes some good decisions. We make some bad decisions there. So we're up down. Our expectations for him are a lot, and every once in a while he'll make a bad decision. I think he threw one, maybe 2 interceptions now.
Okay. Yeah.
But overall, he had 490 yards total.
Wow. Great.
Most of the footage we had was of the first half, but right there was a touchdown or a 2-point conversion he had past the number 1. I saw him make a couple of great catches, and the reason he's making those is because he's catching with his hands. So,
we call him he's a ninth grader. So,
he is a ninth grader?
And he's one of our ninth graders.
Very quick.
He's got a little speed. He catches with his hands, and he doesn't run with it. So. He did a good job.
Well, I thought you guys ran hard and played hard, and like I say, the team looks much improved, Coach. And good luck the rest of the season. I think they're buying in finally, and like you're aging and maturing. I think you guys are going to have a lot of success in this season and next season.
Well, we also we're going to push them, and we've got a very tough one next week. We've got North Jackson, and North Jackson, what I understand, just beat Aniana 57 or 52-27.
That's right,
like
52-27.
They seem to be coming on here toward the end of the year. May have had some kids move in, reckon?
I don't know, but they've got some good athletes. They've always had good athletes.
They do. Well, good luck to you, Coach, the rest of the season, and especially next week as you go to North Jackson, big ball game. And congratulations on the way you've turned things around as you're going in toward the end of the season.
Well, I appreciate it.
I appreciate you being with us.
Thank you.
All right, that was Coach Moss. Good Hope. Now we're going to have a little bit of footage of the Hanceville and Holly Pond game, and we're going to try to get Coach Miller on the phone as we're showing that. So here they're crowning the homecoming queen at Hanceville, and I wish I could give you her name, but I wasn't able to get that information. And now we're trying to get Coach Miller on the phone. I think you probably hear the phone ringing in the background. But big celebrations down at Hanceville tonight. Coach Miller.
Yes, sir.
All right, congratulations. Big win for you tonight. And I know that's sort of a disappointing season so far, but, when you have a lot of youth and a lot of injuries and, you lose a couple of starters that are moving out, that can really be tough to overcome.
You're exactly right. It's been a tough year. We've had 5 kids that we've lost during the season due to season-ending injuries. I don't know if I've ever had that many before, but we started out with low numbers, and when kids that don't have very many, and everybody's having to play both ways, and get hurt increased, and we've been victims of that. Because I know Holly Pond was sort of the same situation.
Yeah, they can relate to that, I think, because I think they lost their quarterback to a season-ending injury last week.
Right. Our kids, the ones that we just got 19 kids tonight, and those kids, they're the ones that stuck with it and come to practice every day to work hard. And, all I know to do to tell them is just keep working hard and good things are going to happen. But sometimes it's hard, like I told Coach Bates after the game, sometimes it's hard to convince them of that because we don't see results on the scoreboard. But
well, some of the best, most enjoyable teams I've had, when you look at the record, may not have been the best record that we had, but it was kids that worked hard and got better every week and played, as hard as they could every time out on the field.
Right. You know, and these kids they've been fun to coach. You know, they come and they good attitude. They work hard. You know, we got many kids that just hadn't played in a while or had never played, and you know, just getting over that inexperience. You know, kind of, I guess when you get the experience, well, the season's about over. So.
Yeah.
But I was awfully proud of, you know, the way we played tonight, and I thought we played about as good as we played in the first half.
Absolutely. 27-7 was the score. Coach, anybody that really stood out of your line? Y'all put up 27 points, so I'm sure they did a great job tonight.
Yes, you know, I thought our offensive line played well. Two of our guys that you know, been leaders for us up there all year, Tanner Walter and Kane Yates. And then we started a guy tonight. It was the first time he's ever started. We've just sort of been juggling one of the tackle positions, and started Dawson Rice as a freshman. And, you know, and I think he played pretty well. But our running back, Dante Reese, had a big game tonight. I couldn't even tell you how many yards he had rushing, but he had some really, really good runs. Had one long run that was called back. And, but Dante's been the leader for us all year, offensively and defensively. I thought our defense really, really played well in the second half.
Well, it's, from what we saw, you had several big sacks that, you know, had good pressure from, looked like your quarterback putting pressure on them, see?
Well, he did. He played outside linebacker for us tonight. And Brendan Hurst and Brendan had some big plays there. Our defensive ends, Christian James, had some really big plays, and then Kane Yates, who I mentioned earlier, also played defensive end opposite of Christian, and both those guys were able to get pressure on the quarterback.
Well, Coach, congratulations on that first win. That's always a big one. Good luck to you next week. And next week, who do you have next week?
We travel to Susan Moore next week.
Okay. And we had Susan Moore at Vinemont tonight.
Got beat 40-14 by Vinemont tonight.
So good luck to you next week as you go to that one, and see if we can't get another win streak started.
It'd be good for us. I would think so.
All right. Well, thank you for being with us, and good luck again next week and the rest of the season. And maybe we'll have you back on the phone next week.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. All right. That was Coach Miller from Hanceville. They picked up their first win of the season just tonight. And now we're going to go to another part of our program that I think is one that the community really likes and appreciates. But we have some sponsors for our FCA Student of the Week. That would be First Baptist Church Coleman, First Baptist Church Hanceville, St. John's Evangelical Church, and Bethlehem West. And we appreciate them supporting us in, as we try to bring some of our top kids character, Christian character. And they live it out and play with that type of attitude. And tonight, our student FCA Athlete of the Week, Austin Reed of Good Hope, wide receiver. And we've got Coach Alan Dunklin who's going to do the interview with him. So here's our interview with him.
I want to welcome everybody to James W. Shavel Stadium here on the lovely campus of Good Hope. It's homecoming Friday night, and been a big week, and we're glad to have with us Austin Reed from the Good Hope Raiders. Austin is a wide receiver for the Raiders, and having an outstanding year, and we just want to take a moment to spend some time with Austin, let you get to know him, and let him get to know you guys. Austin, for this upcoming year, how has Christ played an integral part in what you're doing on the field and off the field?
He's just been a good friend to me, like best friends with Jesus. I just work hard, come out here every day, practice hard, and just give it all my best. So.
Good deal, Austin. And I've been able to watch Austin and them practice. They work hard day in, day out. And Austin, how you go about living your testimony for Christ while in the school, in the hallways, and with your classmates, and then translating that over here on the football field as well?
Like I said, I work hard. I treat them like every other person. I don't treat anybody different. And come out here, work hard in school, do my work. That's about it. I mean,
Do you find that, you know, in the game of football, it's kind of a rough, tough, tumble aspect of getting out here and getting after each other? Do you find it sometimes kind of hard or difficult? I guess what I'm trying to get at is how do you go about portraying the image of Christ when you're out here and you just knock somebody down? Because that's what you're supposed to do in football. How do you go about saying, okay, do you just reach down, help them up, and say, "Good job, man," or how do you go about just living that out in front as far as being a football player?
I just play the game. I mean, I just play how it's supposed to be played. I don't trash talk nothing. Just do what I do best.
Good deal. And I know Coach Moss, our FCA sponsor here at Good Hope High School, who also brought Austin to our attention to interview him this evening. You know, that's some things that he teaches you guys day in, day out, and talks to you. And I've had the honor and privilege of working with Coach, and he does an outstanding job with that. Man, you live your life for God and live your life for the Lord, and let it translate into every aspect of your life. And then you can do that while you're playing sports. You can do that while you're in the classroom and in the hallways and doing the right things. And Austin, I just appreciate you spending some time with us this evening. Anything else you want to say to them out there?
Go Raiders.
Beyond the Scoreboard, brought to you by Country Financial, the Lee Powell Agency, for all your insurance needs, and Wallace State Community College. Get in a Wallace state of mind.
A restaurant with a view. A game day bus. A kingdom for pretty princesses. Your local Country Financial representative knows that your car is much more than just a car to you. And since they know you so well, you can be sure they'll guide you to just the right coverage and available discounts to keep your car and everything else that depends on it well protected. Country Financial. Grow your own way.
Country Financial, the Lee Powell Agency, for all your insurance needs. Call 256-734-3348.
Delicious stud, hon.
Eat up. There's plenty more.
Billy, eat your stud. Think of the termites whose homes were protected with Termidor.
Aw, Dad. The Browns will never get Termidor. They're clueless.
Yeah, they even think homeowners insurance covers our damage.
Do you hear laughing?
It's probably just the pipes.
Target Pest Control. We aim to please.
Wallace State offers associate degree and certificate programs in Alabama's hottest job fields. Every year this decade, almost 3,800 new workers will enter these fields. Will you be one of them? Be one of us. Get in a Wallace state of mind. That's the projected number of job openings for trained welders this decade. That's the potential salary for welders trained the Wallace State way with the latest robotic technology for manufacturing. Who will you be? Be one of us and get in a Wallace state of mind.
Beyond the Scoreboard, brought to you by Country Financial, the Lee Powell Agency, for all your insurance needs, and Wallace State Community College. Get in a Wallace state of mind.
Welcome back to Beyond the Scoreboard, and we want to give a shout out to our main sponsors, Country Financial, the Lee Powell Agency, and Wallace State Community College.
All right, we're looking at region standings just a little bit right now. We've got several of them have already been determined of what 4 teams are going to be in it, but we're not exactly sure what their positions will be, who will be number 1 and stuff. But I think in that first 2A region there, 2A region 6, we know who's going to be first.
It's Tanner's first.
Tanner's first, but
and
then
they're 3A state, 3-time state champions. So
yeah,
you know they're continuing their winning ways. They've lost 2 games though, one of them to a team in 2A, I think. But they're first. Tarrant is looking like they're going to finish second, but they've got to beat Cold Springs next week.
Well, Tarrant, that's a big game there. It'll be Cold Springs at home playing against Tarrant. And Cold Springs, if they win that, can go to the number 2 seed.
Home field advantage.
Home field advantage. If they don't win that one, they'll go back to the number 4 seed.
That's right.
And Addison would stay number 3, and Tarrant would be number 2.
That's right.
But that's a big game in that. All right, 3A Region 5.
3A Region 5, Vinemont cinched a berth tonight, but Oakman, looking really good, playing good ball, is the leader in that region. They're number 1. Okay. Vinemont, Winfield, Winston County are all playing for the other spots.
Okay. Winston County and Vinemont will be playing for the number 3 seed, I think.
Right.
I think Winfield is going to be the number 2 seed. So anyway, so we've got those 4 determined. All right, in Region 7 4A.
And Good Hope has came on late and playing great football, but it looks like North Jackson, Oneonta, and Locust Fork are all going to be tied for the first spot. And then Westminster Christian's going to pull up that 4th spot.
Due to that early season defeat.
That's right.
That Good Hope suffered, I think it was a 27-24, something like that, close ball game. All right. Then we go on over to 5A Region 7. And
Gunnersville owns that region with 6-0. Madison County 5-1, and Etowah 5-1. So there's 1, 2, 3. And then your next team, it looks like it's going to be Boaz. Boaz will be the 4th seed.
Okay. All right, and 5A Region 8.
5A Region 8. East Limestone and J.O. Johnson are only 2 that have decided their destiny. J.O. Johnson is 2nd in the region and are currently 2nd, and East Limestone is 1st in that region. So, I'm sorry, and Russellville. Russellville's 2nd in the region. East Limestone's 1st, and J.O. Johnson's 3rd right now.
All right, and then we'll have West Point playing Lawrence County next week.
For that 4th
They'll
spot.
be hosting. So, it'll be West Point hosting Lawrence County, big ball game, and that'll be determining the number 4 seed. Okay. Then in 6A Region 8.
Decatur and Florence, they've sealed the deal. Florence is number 1, Decatur's number 2.
So they're going to be the host schools.
And the other ones are TBA. They are yet to be announced because we don't know who's going to win that Muscle Shoals Coleman game yet.
All right. So that's an extremely big ball game right there. We have Coleman going to Muscle Shoals.
Right.
And that's a must-win for Coleman.
It is.
If they don't win that, they're out of playoffs for the first time in several years.
And I've seen Coleman, they'll scheme it up and they'll pull off a few trick plays here, and I think they'll be ready to play that game. And I think it'd be a great game for the community to go out and support and watch. West Point, great game for the community to go out and support. And that's a bit. West Point to make the playoffs be the first time since they went 5A, wouldn't it?
Yes, it would. And Cold Springs, of course, and Vinemont. Of course, Vinemont is having to go to Winston County, but Cold Springs will be playing at home.
That's right.
So that's another good game for people to go out and watch. But anyway, that sort of gives you a summation of what the regions look like. Next week, we may not be able to give them exact places because there may be some teams that are tied for certain positions. Mm-hmm. And head-to-head is the first tiebreaker. But if there's 3 of them and they've all sort of beaten each other, then they go to second, third, fourth. Tiebreaker A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H.
Right. Gets tricky, doesn't it?
Yes.
Who ate the most Oreos last Sunday wins it after the 7th round.
Yeah, it could be that way. But anyway, got some big games coming up as we conclude the season. Next week will be the conclusion of the region play. Mm-hmm. So maybe we'll be able to tell you who's where. All right, now we've got another part of our segment coming up right now. We're going to show a little bit of footage of some people who are at all the games, and I don't see how they know what's going on, but they do seem to.
But the cheerleaders.
All right, we've got a little bit of footage here of the cheerleaders.
There is Miss Lucy Price, one of Vinemont's cheerleaders, and I believe all 3 of her sisters are cheerleaders.
Okay.
Coleman's cheerleaders here.
Back to Vinemont.
Those gals too. But yeah, the cheerleaders work hard not only in football season, but throughout the year. They cheer in basketball, they cheer in football, but I think we have a lot of competition teams. I know Coleman won a few state championships in competition cheerleading over the years. These girls, a lot of times sports, people start looking at scholarships and all these other things, but what they don't realize is they build work ethic. They teach you that if you work hard, you get the rewards of working hard. In cheerleading, just like football or basketball or any of those sports, the kids that work hard, it shows. And you see some of these squads in Coleman County that really make their schools proud and show a lot of school spirit and really support their football teams at these ball games and basketball teams.
Okay, so we have a little bit of footage here of Hanceville right now. We just finished looking at some of the Good Hope cheerleaders, and there's the Hanceville cheerleaders. But my wife and then Kimberly, her daughter, was both cheerleader sponsors for several years, and they're working all summer. They're going to camps. And it is unbelievably expensive.
It's probably the most expensive thing, extracurricular activity you can do.
The programs don't have that built in for paying for the cheerleader stuff, and they really don't have a way to generate funds other than little things that they do, sort of like the track programs. Just pretty much
washes and fundraisers.
And they're so busy practicing, it's hard to get those in. But we appreciate the cheerleaders, and they mean a whole lot to the kids and the coaches and everybody in the school, and show a lot of school pride. And one of the things that's probably the most impressive is they always show great sportsmanship.
Yes, they do. They always talk to the other cheerleaders at halftime, and even pep rallies, things like that. It's really kind of a selfless endeavor to an extent.
So we appreciate the cheerleaders. We're going to be right back in just a couple of minutes after a word from our sponsors, and we'll look at a little bit of SEC action for tomorrow.
Beyond the Scoreboard, brought to you by Country Financial, the Lee Powell Agency, for all your insurance needs, and Wallace State Community College. Get in a Wallace state of mind.
A restaurant with a view. A game day bus. A kingdom for pretty princesses. Your local Country Financial representative knows that your car is much more than just a car to you. And since they know you so well, you can be sure they'll guide you to just the right coverage and available discounts to keep your car and everything else that depends on it well protected. Country Financial. Grow your own way.
Country Financial, the Lee Powell Agency, for all your insurance needs. Call 256-734-3348. From the Heart Monogramming and Gifts has just the gift you need for that special someone. Find a tote bag or build a bow. Peruse our selection of baby items. Or choose a nice piece of jewelry by Chameleon. And while you're here, let us take care of all your monogramming needs. From the Heart Monogramming and Gifts. The best gifts are from the heart.
When energy prices start to rise, the single electric co-op can only do so much. That's why your Touchstone Energy Cooperative taps the combined ideas and resources of co-ops locally and nationally to deliver electricity at the best price possible. And in that unity, every member gains strength. Together we can take control of the future, instead of the future taking control of us.
Coleman Electric Cooperative.
Wallace State offers associate degree and certificate programs in Alabama's hottest job fields. Every year this decade, almost 3,800 new workers will enter these fields. Will you be one of them? Be one of us. Get in a Wallace state of mind. Almost $39,000. That's the mean annual wage for Alabamians trained as machinists and in computer-controlled machine operation. Wallace State has machining programs to fit your career ambitions. Be one of us and get in a Wallace state of mind.
Beyond the Scoreboard, brought to you by Country Financial, the Lee Powell Agency, for all your insurance needs, and Wallace State Community College. Get in a Wallace state of mind.
Well, welcome back to Beyond the Scoreboard. Now we're going to talk a little bit about tomorrow's SEC action, and those of you who have been keeping up with, our take on the games.
I hope you haven't been keeping up with mine. my picks have not been that great.
You just need to write these down, and if you happen to be picking on the newspaper or something, just mark the other team.
Yes, there you go.
So we're pretty good at missing the winners here. We've got Auburn is open tomorrow, so we're not going to miss it. And
got one.
Mississippi State is open tomorrow. So there's two.
That's what they need, a break before they come play Alabama.
Yeah, they always
exactly
need
what
that.
they need.
And Vandy is open tomorrow.
Big win for Vandy.
Those three we don't have to worry about, but the rest of them are pretty much involved with some pretty tough ball games. We'll just open up. First of all, Alabama's playing host to Texas A&M.
But win or lose, isn't it a great time to be an Alabama fan with 3 hard ball games fought like this in a row? And I think Alabama's going to win tomorrow. I think they'll beat Texas A&M and get back to playing shape.
Well, I wish you hadn't said that because I'd have felt a lot better about their chances.
I know it. That's what I was thinking too.
But yeah, I'll go along with that. I think Alabama defensively is still pretty strong. Offensively, they've struggled the last couple of weeks, but I look for another big ball game. Texas A&M defense I think is a little bit suspect, and so I think Alabama's about time to open back up and have another big offensive show. So I think Alabama probably will take this one. I hope so.
And I'm not like the rest of these fans. Nick Saban, if you're watching, I was proud of the win last week, and I think it was a great win, whether it was 1 point or 1,000 points. So.
Okay, everybody tries to get their little points in.
There you go.
All right, Arkansas and Georgia. This should be a good one.
Arkansas.
You're picking Arkansas just because they're in the West?
No, I'm picking Arkansas because of the way they played against Bama, and Georgia's had some moments when they didn't look that strong. Now, they looked good last week, but I think
they didn't look
Arkansas,
very good last week.
I think Arkansas.
Georgia's defense looked better than I've seen a Georgia defense in a long time. So I normally would go with the West Division team, but I'm going to go with Georgia because
East is least and West is best.
Yes, I know that, but Georgia they played extremely well last week, and they've got some points to make. They've got to show that they can play without their autograph signs.
There you go.
So anyway, signing autographs just really doesn't seem like you ought to be able to take a kid out off the field because you signed some autographs. But that's one of the things that they're looking into. All right, we've got another, LSU and Kentucky. Normally we would just say this is just a
LSU, but not this year.
This year it could be tough.
Right.
Kentucky's what, 5-1 now?
I say Kentucky will win this game.
You really think so?
I think Kentucky.
All right. Now it's at LSU. Baton Rouge. LSU's a home team.
I still think it's got to be hard to play down there in Baton Rouge. But.
LSU's got a couple of big running backs that the only thing that they like having their team set, I think, is they've got to get some consistent quarterback play. And I think against Kentucky's played some pretty good defense, but I'm going to go with LSU. All right, Mississippi and Tennessee.
Mississippi.
Normally, people would say Tennessee. You look at series history.
That's right.
But I'm going to go with Mississippi. Their defense has been playing outstanding, lights out. So I'll go along with that. I think Mississippi will have very little trouble with Tennessee.
I've always I heard them say, thank God for Mississippi, whenever you're talking about educational standings and all that. But now people are saying, oh, Lord, Mississippi. Mm-hmm. The state of Mississippi has come on as of late with football.
2 of the top 3 teams in the nation right now
from the state of Mississippi. And usually we can say that from the state of Alabama, but this year it's Mississippi. Who would have thunk it?
All right, got Florida and Missouri. This is East and East.
And I picked Missouri, and they got a loss last week, but I picked them one time as the underdog to get a win, and I'm gonna stick with Missouri.
Well, I'm gonna go with Florida. Missouri just looked bad last week.
Right.
Georgia had a lot to do with that, but they didn't look very good at all. So I'm gonna go with Florida in that one. South Carolina plays the big Furman.
South Carolina.
I don't know how they got that on there.
Yeah.
It's about time South Carolina pick up a win. So we'll just go with South Carolina over Furman, and hope that we're maybe a little better than we've been in the past week. So, but there were some good, tough ball games there. Well, okay. It's been good to have you with us again on another edition of Beyond the Scoreboard. We appreciate your attention and your devotion to coming and watching us.
Football season's almost over, so get out there and support your high school teams these last 2 weeks of the season, and get your feel of football, because it's going to be over before you know it.
Yeah, and then we can just turn on TV and watch the college ball games for about another month. But some big games coming up in the college level, and then we are down to the qualifying for state playoffs now in the high school level. So try to pick your team, go out and watch them, and have a blessed weekend.